If I haven't proved myself now, then when am I proving myself? For when? For me to die? For you to say, oh, okay, yeah, it was sick. Nah, bruv, I've proved myself. I've got 7 number ones, bruv. Like, that's it. No one this whole decade has been able to do that. Man, female, black, white, from any type of music.
Oh, really?
So, no.
Serious? I didn't know that.
Nah, bruv, nah.
No one's had 7 number 1 singles.
Not this decade.
If you ain't got it by now, then you just ain't getting it.
What's good, Malik and me? Welcome back to another lovely, beautiful, sexy, amazing video of the equally lovely, equally beautiful, equally sexy, and equally amazing LiTTyENT. I already know what time it is. Now let's go. Now guys, in today's video, we're going to be discussing why Tinie Tempah doesn't get the respect he deserves in the UK rap game, and we're going to break this down in way more detail. But already know what you got to do. You just got to like, comment, subscribe, subscribe today, and drop a banger like this one, and hit that noty because you're in an E, so you can be the first to know when one of these videos comes out. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, I do realize that some of you who watch this channel are YG, so if you don't know who Tinie Tempah is, he is a British rapper who honestly is one of the people who brought UK rap to the forefront and started to break down that barrier of entry for UK rap in the UK singles chart. Tinie Tempah rose to prominence in 2010 with his hit #1 single, Pass Out.
And we can do this until we pass out. Let it play.
Followed by his second #1 single, Written in the Stars. In that same year, he released his debut album called Discovery, which also went #1 and is currently 3 times platinum.
I gave a round of applause to myself.
And the following year, he was nominated for 4 Brit Awards, the most nominations for an artist in a single night at that time, for which he won 2 of those nominations for Best British Breakthrough Act and Best British Single. Now, based on these stats alone, you're probably already sitting there thinking, how on earth can a guy with these accolades not be getting the respect he deserves? Well, a recent clip of Tinie Tempah has resurfaced from a podcast that he did way back in 2017 called Not For The Radio, where he discussed the idea of him having to prove himself and his accomplishments, and he had this to say.
If I haven't proved myself now, then when am I proving myself? For when? For me to die? For you to say, oh, okay, yeah, it was sick. Nah, bro, I've got 7 number ones, bruv. Like, that's it. No one this whole decade has been able to do that. Man, female, black, white, from any type of music.
Now, just to clarify, because I know people will scrutinize this, Ed Sheeran also had 7 #1s last decade. However, at the time when Tinie Tempah recorded this, Ed Sheeran only had 4 #1s. But yeah, 7 #1s in a decade is truly crazy. Just to put that into perspective for you, he's matching the likes of Ariana Grande, Michael Jackson, and Justin Bieber, and he's beating out the likes of Drake, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars, all within 1 decade, might I add.
And that's facts, no printer.
So it was this clip that got me wondering why people don't really give Tinie Tempah the respect that he deserves. And I think there's a multifaceted answer to that question. My first point is that I think it's partly down to the type of music that he was/ended up making. And I mean, if we take a look at some of the #1 singles that he has, for example, the first was Pass Out in 2010.
And we can do this until we pass out.
Then it was Written in the Stars with Eric Turner. R.I.P. with Rita Ora.
Sexy senorita, I feel your aura.
Tsunami Jump. Crazy Stupid Love with Cheryl Cole.
I'm in crazy, stupid love.
Not Letting Go with Jess Glynn.
I'm not letting go. I'm not letting go.
And Turn the Music Louder. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, apart from Pass Out, I can't see the real street drillers banging any of these tunes at the next local block party, you know what I mean?
$100,000 for the cheapest ring on the nigga finger, little bitch.
But nah, I mean, based on these songs alone, I think it's fairly evident that the lane that Tinie Tempah was carving for himself was more of a pop rap lane. And you know, don't get me wrong, I liked some of these songs when they came out initially, but I believe as Tinie's career started to progress, it just seemed more evident that he was chasing the pop sound. And I mean, when you're making tunes with Cheryl Cole and Jess Glynn, it's fairly obvious what kind of rapper you're trying to be.
I'm just saying.
But I do believe that at the start, it was kind of he just rapped and it went pop type of thing, like a Drake thing. Like, I mean, Pass Out and Frisky, I feel like he was just rapping and it just kind of went pop because the songs were just catchy. But I mean, yeah, when you're hearing tunes like Girls Like, come on, man. There's no way you could tell me that's not a pop tune, that you're not chasing the pop sound. And so when you compare that with the more contemporary rap music that we have now, where rappers like Dave and Central C, Russ and Tion Wayne, they're out here topping the charts with songs that aren't traditional pop rap tunes. I mean, Russ and Tion Wayne topped the charts with a drill song, for crying out loud. So when you compare songs like that to songs like R.I.P. with Rita Ora and Not Letting Go, it does make Tinie Tempah look like a bit of a sellout, I can't lie. And hey, don't get me wrong, I don't personally think he is a sellout, and I'm not knocking him for doing the whole pop rap thing. I think that is where the money is at, or at least that's where the money was at back in the day, because, you know, back when Tinie Tempah was popping, rap music was nowhere near as big in the UK as it is now. Like, there was no streaming, there was no YouTube, well, not as much YouTube. There was no TikTok to like blow up your song. There was very much a big barrier of entry into the game and into urban music being accepted on a grandiose level. And I think Tinie Tempah was a huge part of making that whole rap music bigger and making it have a wider appeal. I think even the royal family said that he's their favorite rapper. There was literally a time where if you asked an American artist to name a UK rapper, the only one that they would know is Tinie Tempah. So me personally, I could definitely give him the respect for what he's done and the respect for what he's brought to the scene, but I can see how other people would look at some of the things that I just said. I can see how people might think that his music is, you know, him selling out, essentially. Another element of his career that I think has made people not necessarily give him the credit that is due is that he also started to go down the house EDM type of lane for a little bit, where he was making songs like Miami to Ibiza and Drinking from the Bottle. And I think when you start to go down that lane, you kind of start to lose the culture a little bit, I would say, if you know what I mean. It starts to look very much like you're just making music for a check and jumping on the hot wave rather than being your true, authentic self. And of course, I don't know Tinie Tempah personally, so maybe that whole EDM stuff is part of his authentic self, or that was just an experiment or whatnot. But these tunes were big and they were catching on, so optics-wise, it just didn't look great for him. But I will play devil's advocate and say that there were other artists that were trying to chase that sound as well. I mean, I really messed with Skepta, but he's no innocent party in this situation either. I mean, he's made songs like Amnesia and Cross My Heart, So Alive with N-Dubs. He was also trying to chase that pop sound at one point as well. I would argue maybe after the success of Tinie Tempah chasing that pop sound, a lot of rappers thought, oh, maybe I want to get in on this as well. But obviously, the tunes that I just mentioned are not Skepta's biggest tunes and not the tunes that he's most known for, and most definitely not the tunes that broke him into the scene and got people to respect him as an artist. So kind of gets a pass where someone like Tinie Tempah wouldn't, because, I mean, who knows? Maybe if that sound was working for Skepta, he might have gone down the pop route as well. Maybe let me know if you agree or disagree, but you know, Tinie's not the only one that was chasing the pop sound. I think they all did it a little bit at some point. Yeah, overall, I think it's pretty sad. Regardless of where Tinie Tempah ended up in his career, sonically, he really did do a lot to push the UK rap genre forward, and on an international scale as well, might I add. And he had bangers, I can't lie. Let's keep it a buck. Tinie had some bangers. So he was at the top of the game. So I think it's quite sad that whenever people mention some of the UK rap goats, his name is usually left out of the conversation. However, that is what happens when you box yourself into being a quote-unquote pop rapper. I mean, look at the likes of, in America, someone like Flo Rida and Pitbull. Both of them have multi-platinum #1 hits. They both even have a diamond song each. And yet, when the conversation comes up for US GOATs, I rarely, if ever, hear either of those two names being mentioned in the conversation. Not in top 10, not in top 20. They don't even make top 50 a lot of the time. Most of the time, I can't even lie.
I'm just saying.
And again, it's because they've boxed themselves into pop rap. And they've kind of excluded themselves from the conversation, which I think Tinie Tempah has done here as well. But yeah, in the words of Heady One,
It's a bit of a sticky one still.
let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. What do you think about my analysis of the Tinie Tempah situation? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. But on the road to 2,000 subs, you already know what time it is. You follow my personal IG at the only LiTTyENT. If you care about what I do, I'm not making these bangers for you. I post updates on Twitter as well, so you might as well follow me on next. What else are you doing for your life? Absolutely nothing, mate. Stay black, and if you're not black, stay whatever race you are. I bet. Peace.
Oh, you ain't know I could sing?